here to talk about this beautiful Yamaha G3 that's going to David in Alaska. We don't normally send pianos in Alaska, but probably you're wondering, how do you send a piano to Alaska? Well, basically, what happens is that normally when we send a piano out long distance, it gets packed up like this, just like you see here, okay? And then a piano mover will come here, pick it up, bring it to their main warehouse in Kentucky. The name of that company is called Keyboard Carriage. They only do commercial pickups and deliveries because they come with a big 50-foot semi-tractor trailer truck. And then they put the piano in their warehouse, and when they have a piano that, let's say, is going to New Jersey, then the piano will get on the next truck that they have going to New Jersey, and then it gets dropped off to a local piano mover. All our pianos are only moved by piano movers, because if you get a regular mover to move the piano, they're going to damage it. It's going to happen, okay? Because regular movers do not know how to move grand pianos. Maybe uprights, but they don't know how to move grand pianos. So, in this particular situation, what we're going to do is we're going to have this taken down to a crating company. The piano is going to be put in a big wooden crate. So the crate's going to be built for it. And when a wooden crate is built for the piano, it can go ocean freight to another country, or to somewhere in the United States that a piano mover won't normally be able to get to that easily. So in the case where the piano is going to Alaska, the piano has to be shipped to Washington State to a port where it gets on a ferry, and it goes from the ferry to Alaska, up the Inside Passage somewhere, I don't know, but it has to be put in a wooden crate, so therefore the piano could be handled by a forklift, and it could be handled like any other piece of big equipment or whatever, because inside that crate it's going to be packed very, very well. Actually better than it's packed in the cardboard crates that they come from the manufacturer. So anyway, so this piano is going to David in Alaska, and David, you're going to be very, very happy with this piano. And just in case any of you out there are not familiar with the G3, because they don't make G3s anymore. They actually stopped making them in the early 1990s. Yamaha used to make two 6-foot grands, the G3 and the C3. They're very much identical. Both pianos share all the same parts, except for, if you look inside this piano, camera come over here, and I can show you. You see this G3 has 1, 2, 3, 4 iron braces here, because you have to have a lot of strength in here to hold the tuning of these strings. Incidentally, enjoy the look of the new strings. Because all the pianos that we send out get all brand new strings, and this is no exception. But if you see here, this piano is a 6-foot, and it has this configuration of the iron plate. And if the camera could just shoot over here, I could just illustrate on here. This is a C3. You see on the C3, it's got an extra brace right here that goes across. And not only that, but the regular braces are reinforced. They're thicker down here at the bottom. And really, the only reason for that is so the piano holds a tune better under duress. So let's say the piano is going to be used in a studio where it's going to be getting a lot of play, by concert pianists every day for 8 hours, 7 days a week. It's going to hold a tune better on that type of use. But just for the sake of having a piano at home and playing it, and you want a 6-foot grand, it's not really necessary to spend extra on a C3. They're going to cost more because they're a current model and everybody's more familiar with them. But the G3, what happens is that you don't see them available in the Yamaha music stores or piano stores because they discontinued them. And the only reason why they discontinued them is just because of the declining demand for pianos in general. Not because it was a bad piano, you just don't have as many people buying pianos today as you had, let's say, 20 or 30 years ago. In any event, this is a 6-foot grand, so you're going to get a nice bass out of it. And I'll play it a little bit. The camera will go around. You can see just how nice and beautiful the piano turned out. And David, I hope you enjoy the way it sounds. Rachmaninoff. I do have to apologize, the piano is not in exact tune like it should be. When the strings are new, they are a little jumpy for the first several months that you have it. We've had this piano here, we've been tuning it about 3 or 4 weeks, but you know, it does take time for them to settle in, just like a brand new piano would. But anyway, as you look at the piano, you see, you know, some of the things that we do in order to get the piano to look like this is when the piano's being restrung, all these exterior parts come off. Every part of the piano gets cleaned and polished, all the brass gets polished, everything in the piano gets to look like brand new again. As a matter of fact, all these pianos in here, so we have one that we just took the iron plate out of that I'm going to have the camera follow me, and I'm going to show you the first step. Because what we do is we take the iron plate out, we clean the soundboard, because the only way that you can clean the soundboard is with the iron plate out. So you'll see over here. This piano we just started, okay? The first step was taking the old strings out, which is what we did. And now that all the old strings are out, we can clean and refinish the soundboard. This is an older G2, and what happens is that after a certain year, sometime in the 1980s, they used a clear coat, but before that they used a varnish. Any of the older pianos that had a varnish, the varnish has to be removed down to the natural wood, and then we put a clear coat. And now that we got the iron plate out of the piano, as you can see over here, this is a work in progress over here. All of this is now being cleaned. All the old felt, like you see over here, all this gets removed. See this, like all this old stuff gets removed. It gets scraped off. All of these are the A-grafts. You see how tarnished they are? They are brass. They're very, very oxidized. They get cleaned and all polished by hand. Same thing with the duplexes. These get removed. All the screws that get taken out. So that's how we get the piano back to its brand new look. If you look over here, you see we have, this is the lid. This is the lid after it's polished. You can see all the flaws, all the scratches, any of the marks in the piano from when it was being, you know, in another home prior to coming here. Anything that's not supposed to be is gone. Same thing with all the parts here. You see all the parts that we work on separate off of the piano. The music stand over here. This is the keyboard cover over here. Keyboard cover. Key slip. This goes in front of the keys. These go on either side of the inside of the piano. This is where the music stand slides on this. See, everything comes off. Everything gets clean and detailed. And as you see, all the pianos that you have in here, if the camera will pan around, we have every single model Yamaha piano in here. We're the largest used Yamaha dealer in the United States. So if you're ever interested, you want to pick one out, this is Piano Outlet. The number is 954-803-3319. And I want to thank you very much for watching.